There are over 4,200 Claude Code skills out there right now, 700 MCP servers, and most of them actively make your output worse. We tested over 100 across real projects. You need 6. So here's the stat. Build your skills, structure your code, manage your context, review what you built, and carry knowledge forward. That's the whole workflow, nothing else. Now let's start with the foundation. Skill Creator. It's an official Anthropic plugin, and it's the factory that builds everything else in your stack. You describe what you want like you're talking to a coworker. Hey, build me a content brief generator. And Skill Creator drafts it, tests it, iterates on it, and packages the whole thing. You never touch a skill.md file yourself. Here's the thing that makes it more than a template generator. It splits your eval set, 60% training, 40% held out test, then iterates up to 5 times, improving the skill based on actual failures. You get an HTML report at the end showing exactly what changed, and the practical use cases are wide open. Drop in a client SOP, property descriptions for a real estate agency, invoice processing for accounting, and boom, reusable automation. Install it globally so it's ready in every project. But building skills means nothing if Claude rushes the actual code, and that's exactly what it does by default. Superpowers fixes this. Over 150,000 stars on GitHub. It's the most popular community skill for a reason. It forces Claude through 5 phases. Clarify, design, plan, code, verify. No skipping steps. Instead of sprinting to write code that looks fine on the surface and falls apart when you run it, Claude actually stops, teases out a spec, shows it to you in digestible chunks, then builds a plan. It goes deep, too. Test-driven development. Write a failing test, watch it fail, write minimal code, watch it pass. It literally deletes code written before tests exist. Then it dispatches sub-agents for 2-stage review. First for spec compliance, then code quality. And everything runs in Git work trees, so nothing touches your main branch. The practical impact? You go from 60% of the way there on a first pass to 80%. Doesn't sound huge, but that gap, that's the difference between 1 debugging cycle and 4. For anything going to production, this is non-negotiable. Now, Superpowers is about how Claude writes code. GSD is about the environment Claude writes it in. Because every Claude Code user eventually hits the same wall. Context rot. Halfway through your context window, Claude starts cutting corners, forgets requirements, tells you things are done when they're not. GSD fixes this by spawning fresh sub-agents for each task. Each one gets a clean 200K token window focused only on what it needs. Your main session stays pristine. The full install gives you 86 skills and 33 sub-agents. That's a lot. But there's a minimal flag that cuts it down to 6 core skills. Cold start drops from 12,000 tokens to 700. If you're running a local model, that's the move. And the quality gates are clever. Scope reduction detection flags when the planner quietly drops requirements you asked for. Security enforcement anchored to your threat model. Schema drift detection, catching ORM changes that are missing migrations. It even has an autonomous mode. Hand it a spec, walk away, come back to finished work with clean Git history. To be fair, GSD isn't a token saver. Those sub-agents cost tokens. What it saves is the hours you'd spend redoing work that Claude broke because it forgot what you asked 30 minutes ago. That's the real math. Here's one that blew my mind. It's already in Claude Code, and most people don't even know about it. The review and ultra review commands. No plugin needed. Quick breakdown. /review runs locally, takes seconds, costs nothing beyond your normal tokens. Great for every commit. Ultra review, completely different beast. It uploads your branch to a cloud sandbox, spins up parallel reviewer agents, and here's the key. Before any bug shows up on your list, it has to be independently reproduced. Zero style nitpicks. Confirmed bugs only. So what's the play? Use /review on everything, every single commit. Then use /ultra review before merging anything where a production bug costs more than the $5 to $20 review fee. Big refactors, anything touching payments or auth, database migrations. Pro and Max plans get 3 free runs to try it out. Now we get to the one that honestly surprised us the most. Context mode. 98% less context waste. That's not a typo. Here's the problem it solves. Every tool call in Claude Code dumps raw data into your context window. A Playwright snapshot, 56 kilobytes. 20 GitHub issues, 59 KB. One access log, 45 KB. After 30 minutes of real work, 40% of your window is just garbage you'll never look at again. Context mode routes every tool call through a sandbox. Your code runs in an isolated sub-process, the raw output gets captured, and only the summary Claude actually needs enters the context window. That 56 KB Playwright snapshot becomes 299 bytes. A 46 KB access log, 155 bytes. Over a full session, 315 KB of raw output becomes 5 KB total. And the second half surprised us even more. Context mode tracks every meaningful event in a local SQLite database. File edits, decisions, errors. When Claude compacts to free space, it rebuilds a session snapshot and injects it back in. The model picks up exactly where it left off. Sessions that used to fall apart at 30 minutes, now they run for 3 hours. But what about between sessions? Context mode keeps you going for 3 hours. Then you close the session, open a new one, and you're explaining the project for the 5th time this month. Claude Mem kills that. It hooks into Claude's session lifecycle and automatically captures what happened. File edits, decisions, bug fixes, commands. Then it uses Claude's own agent SDK to compress everything into semantic summaries stored in a local SQLite database with vector search. When you open a new session, the relevant parts get injected automatically. No manual work. And the retrieval is smart about tokens. It uses a 3-layer search. Compact index first, then timeline around what matters, then full details only when necessary. The repo reports 10x token savings compared to just dumping everything into context at session start. It also generates folder-level Claude.md files and updates them as you work. Your project documentation literally writes itself while you code. There's a local web viewer where you can see exactly what Claude remembers. Pick up a project you haven't touched in 2 weeks. Claude already knows what you were working on, what you decided, where you left off. Quick bonus before we wrap up. The official front-end design plugin. Around 300,000 installs. It pushes Claude to commit to a cohesive aesthetic before writing any code. Distinctive typography over safe defaults, dominant colors with sharp accents, atmospheric depth over flat backgrounds. If you're building UIs with Claude Code, install this globally. The difference is night and day. So how does this all fit together? These aren't random picks. They form one continuous pipeline. Skill Creator builds your custom automations. Superpowers gives Claude the discipline to plan and test. GSD keeps context clean so that discipline works at scale. /review and ultra review catch what Claude missed. Context mode stretches your session from 30 minutes to 3 hours. And Claude Mem carries everything forward so you never start from scratch again. You don't need all 6 on day 1. Start with Superpowers and context mode. Biggest immediate impact. Add GSD when your projects span multiple sessions. Layer in Claude Mem when you're tired of re-explaining context. The rule from experienced users? 2 to 3 active plugins max at any time. More than that and you're just adding noise. And if you want a head start on all of this, we put together a Claude Code Power User Kit with advanced skills and configurations pre-built. Links in the description. Also, check out the OpenClaw Business Starter Kit if you want a full AI assistant setup in 60 minutes. Full reviews on the site, popularaitools.ai. Hit subscribe if this was useful. We've got more of these coming.